Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, listen, unbelievable. I mean, are you serious? President Trump speaks. He really backs Iran down and offers them peace, not war, but peace. And guess what? The markets react positively. The oil prices drop. Gold is up. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's like, I mean, what a 24-hour emotional ride for America and the world. And at the end of the day, we might see President Trump and the Ayatollah Ali Khomeini holding hands singing Kumbaya. I don't know what's next, but let's get the guy who's going to help us understand all of this, folks, all the way from WGS Academy in California. It's Bob Kudlow, the man with the answers. Bob, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Paul. It's just an amazing year already.
I mean, it's only the 8th of January. I mean, last night we're staring down Armageddon, and today we have energy independence. Can you help us understand? Let's start easy. Brock, put that little cartoon character up there. Folks, don't worry about it, okay? I mean, think about it. It might look like the end of the world, but in reality, there's some opportunities. There's some great opportunities. There it is. And so while the end of the world scenario will be rife with unimaginable horrors, we believe that the pre-end period will be filled with unprecedented opportunities for profit. This is a phenomenal statement. Bob, is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody's always looking for the gloom or doom, but there's always opportunities here. And I laugh because, you and I both are obviously Christians, and I said that's a premillennial rapture person wrote that one, and so they're bailing out before the ship sinks. But it's just, the point is that in these situations you have to take a step back, and just some advice for people that are listening that do trade. You never try to chase a trade down like this. You just kind of wait for it to exhaust itself. And I sent you some notes and some comments from our subscribers. We've had probably one of the best trading 24 hours that we've had in probably 5 or 6 years, at least me personally, because we've seen this movie before. Iran has zero strategic capability unless they put a suitcase nuke or a dirty bomb into one of the U.S. cities. Short of that, there's no existential threat to the United States. So anything that they would do would just literally cause these knee-jerk reactions to these markets that are algorithmically traded. So you simply wait for them to exhaust themselves. And as soon as we knew Trump wasn't going to speak last night, I knew the heat was off. The morning was coming, and America likes to fight at night. And so morning was coming in Iraq and Iran. We weren't going to put any of our assets up into the air for then. And I just said, buy the market, guys. And I said, Trump is going to actually, I said, I would be surprised if you don't put an olive branch out there. And he did. And he caught the Democrats flat-footed once again. They try to position him as a warmonger, but he always had come into this office saying, look, I got to disentangle myself and ourselves from these endless wars. He's rotating us out of Afghanistan. He's now putting us in a position where he wants to rotate us out of Iraq. He killed the guy that needed to be killed, who's killed a lot of Americans, and he's the guy that's been causing all the grief in Israel, in Lebanon, in Syria, Iraq, Iran, and against us. And he's gone. And the rumor on the street, Paul, is that there's very few tears being shed for this guy. Even the mullahs were probably worried that he was going to eclipse them because he controlled the army. The mullahs didn't. And obviously everybody else didn't like him. So it was a tremendous opportunity. And I joked with you before we even got on the air about none of this matters. I did an interview yesterday before I even knew this war, this 24-hour war that we didn't have started, is I joked, I said, look, Iran is not going to matter in the strategic levels of the United States. It's only the Fed. Impeachment, dead. Iran, dead. The economy, I think all the elites now in the country, they may publicly distance themselves from Trump, but privately they're rooting for this guy, because the alternative is basically the destruction of the United States by these crazy socialists and the damage they can do. And even Bloomberg, who's trying to come off as this moderate, he's a busybody. He's going to be sticking his nose into everybody's actions, and he's a control freak. And so I think a lot of people are like saying, hey, you know what? Trump's doing okay here. I mean, you think about what he's done. It's just amazing. And look, I was not a Trumper, when he got elected. It's just that he was on my ticket. I voted for him. I supported him. And he's really won me over in terms of just his ability to get stuff done. And he puts off, his public persona is designed to underestimate him. Yeah, and he's destroying the Democratic Party by letting them destroy themselves. So, from our standpoint is that now it's really a matter of shifting, Paul. We have the economy being fed by the Fed, and that's what I meant, I think, by the elites. They've made a decision. They're not going to pull the carpet out or the rug out from underneath Trump at this point. They're going to keep pouring money into this economy until it probably can't eat anymore. And then that'll be like a 2008 event will happen, but it's not going to happen this year. So now you have to say to yourself, where do we put the money? And that's where it's moving over to the commodities. Gold and silver are hitting highs, Paul. We're going to have new highs in gold before this year's out, and silver will be over $20. And then at that point, then silver will really take off, and then the miners are going to be up 800%. We're already in inning 4 of this. We've already had a lot of these miners have doubled and tripled, but they still have doubles and triples left in them. So that's kind of how we see things, and we're just harvesting these profits. We think that's where the hockey puck's going, and keep it simple.
Folks, this is Bob Kudla with us. Bob Kudla from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's TradeGeniusAcademy.com. You can always call the number 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. Dow Jones, the morning after Armageddon, up 161. Gold up to $15.58 an ounce. Silver up to $18.17 an ounce. Bitcoin up to $7,981. And the stock market setting at 28,007. I made a prediction, Bob, and I could be wrong, but I made a prediction on New Year's Eve that the stock market would hit 30,000 this year, but it wouldn't stay there. I think at some point it would come down something, but I feel like we haven't topped the mountain yet on the market, and I'm with you. The gold, the silver, the precious metals are going to be, gold's just going to keep going. I wouldn't be shocked if gold doesn't see 2,000, maybe 2,200 even before the year's over. Bitcoin is steady, and the economy is incredible. And I think you're right. You know why? I believe you're right when you said that they have decided that Trump's going. They can't deal with the crazy socialist. And I think that Elizabeth Warren and Bernie and some of these folks have scared the market and all business, anybody in business, small or big, anybody doesn't want to see these people hiking up the taxes. And I really believe when the Golden Globes, that was it. The Golden Globes, when they were chastised but for being, in their own words, idiots, I think we've seen the election may be over.
Yeah, I think the pendulum's swinging, and that was pretty telling. That Ricky Gervais did not do that without the knowledge of the people running the Golden Globes, okay? He didn't spring that on them.
No.
That had to be put on a teleprompter. Somebody read that. Lawyers read that ahead of time. And so, that was probably, somebody said that's probably a brush off the plate for the Hollywood people to maybe shut up. You're not resonating with the people. If you notice, Hollywood earnings are collapsing. People aren't going to the movies. And, for a lot of reasons, most of it's garbage, and people are tired of being lectured by these people. So that was wonderful, and the culture wars, and the whole thing, climate change too. That's blowing up in people's faces as well. But we have real issues. We're going to have to deal with the fact that this debt is not going to be paid back, Paul, and that's what we're going to have to deal with after the re-election of President Trump. If that's what's meant to be, and he's doing the right things here, because the only way we get out of this at all is that we have to take it out of the hide of our economic competitors, and
China,
Germany, Japan, Korea, the European Union. All those people are gonna get nicked. And if you notice, Paul, world trade is collapsing. Our trade deficit collapsed last month. So he's doing all the things that need to happen, and we're all going to get back in it, and everything's going to get more tribal, Paul. And for the United States, that's a good thing, because these globalists have been basically trying to dilute the most wonderful country in the world.
Yes. And when you said that is such a powerful statement, because they were trying to sell the American people from our high schools to our colleges that socialism's a good thing, and you just keep pouring more water into the bucket and everybody's got more, but it's diluting what's good, and it doesn't work, and it was destroying a great nation. And when Trump today offered an olive branch instead of the hammer, but the key point he said was, we don't need your oil anymore. We're independent. We don't need another drop of foreign oil. So it's over. The gig's up. We don't need you no more. Go away. Do whatever you guys want to do. We're getting out of the Middle East. The only thing we're going to do is protect Israel. And, you guys figure it out on your own. We're not going to be your sugar daddy no more. I mean, isn't that really what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, Trump just laid it out there for them, saying, hey, look, we don't have to be here. And basically, he was talking to the Europeans. See, my theory is that we've been played by the Europeans since World War II, and it's harmed us. Everybody tries to say to the American people, well, look how great Europe is, all their social things they do. Yeah, because we protect them. Number one, the way we trade with them, they have. Our company has to pay Social Security and Medicare. Those companies don't. The way they construct their VAT tax, so they created an environment that they basically put us at disadvantages everywhere, and then they lecture us. And what Trump's basically saying is that, I don't need your oil. I don't even need to be here. Okay? Basically, Europe, you started this mess. The reason why Iraq is a mess is because the British created one country where there should have been three, and go on and on and on and on, and so the British and the French are the ones that have just created this nightmare that we have called the Middle East. And the only good thing that came out of it is God's providence carved out his land again, and but besides that, it's a nightmare. Look at Lebanon; it could be split into three countries. Syria can be split into two countries. You get a minority government in charge of people that don't believe the same way. I mean, just goes on. Turkey, half of Turkey's Kurdish. So, so that's why there's always fighting over there. It's just like in the United States where they're trying to impose a culture on people that don't want it. And there it's regionalized. The people have to live together in a boiling pot against people who don't believe as they do, and that's why you have these flashpoints. Trump's like saying, you know what, you guys beat it out for yourselves. Europe, maybe you have to get back in there and fix this. The only person that gets out of this that probably sitting back and laughing is actually Russia. Because they have all the oil too. and the Middle East blows up, they're doing good. I'm surprised we haven't heard that yet. Putin and Trump together to take over world oil markets, you know?
Well, that might be a true Russian confusion if it is. Folks, it's Bob Kudla here, TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Bob Kudla from TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Now, if you want to learn how to trade in the market, or if you are already trading and you want to get some of the best tips ever, that's the place to go. Just go to www.tradegeniusacademy.com or pick up the phone. Call them at 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. And Bob, you got to tell folks a little bit about this VXX a little bit. This, this was what made everybody happy. We saw the great comments. Everybody was telling you, great job, Bob. You saved my life. I mean, so tell folks a little bit about it. What is VXX?
Yeah, so this particular trade VXX is a trade that is looking at either chaos or calmness in the market. And so the more chaotic the market is, the higher this VXX, it's an exchange traded fund, higher it goes. But there's a secret to it. It wants to always go down because the bankers and the hedge funds want calmness in the market because then more people buy the stock market. So they manipulate the volatility of the chaos in the market. And as they create calmness, Paul, it makes us fall. And then we use an option, we use an option called put options. And we teach our people how to trade those. And in doing so, you go ahead and whenever it gets what they call overbought, or we get a trade signal from our algorithm, we buy the puts. And so from October, when this last run started with the stock market until basically Christmas time, we haven't traded it yet this year. We've done 8 trades on it, and with options, people were making between 400 and 600% total on the trades. And this time we had 0 losses. Usually you're about 80% good on this trade. But this trade was just pitch perfect for us. And you get 2 times a year, Paul, where you get trades like this. And our standard members get this signal from me. And so we put it out there for everybody. And if people don't know how to trade it, they can get in the chat room and ask us. I do occasional, when it's ready to go again, I'll do some training out there for the public to show people how to trade this. And then you just get the signals and you trade it. And, hey, who doesn't want to make 8 to 10 times their money on a trade every year? And this trade's been doing this now, Paul, since the beginning. This trade's been out there since 2011. So it's a trade that just keeps working. The bankers don't care that we make money because they're making far more money with it. And that's just one of the trades that we do to help people make money. The comments that you saw that I sent you were just from the last 2 days, where we show people how to actually day trade without getting caught up in day trading rules. It doesn't matter what level of experience you have, there's some really simple ways to do this and make money. And we show people how to do that and help them make money that they never thought was possible. And so we call it just basically day trading with training wheels and just really help people make money. A lot of people in the last 2 days paid for their annual subscription with us just in the trades that we threw out there. And I just wanted you to see that. All that I sent you, Paul, was from the last 2 days. So, wow. And that wasn't even all the comments. They were getting repetitious. So wow. I can only take so much praise.
Yeah, you can't be just you're a genius. I mean, this is why he's called the Trade Genius, folks. Bob Kudla. Certainly go to his website, www.tradegeniusacademy.com, and the promo code, of course, Paul Begley. Tell him I said you to go see him. Now, folks, listen. Bob, you got some great deals already for January. Start this new year. Brock's going to post them right now, folks. Some big time percentages off on these programs that Bob is running. You need to check it out. And you might never have traded in your life. But look at this. He's got the New Year's crypto deal and the New Year's the whole package. And there you see all the different products that go along with the crypto deal. So, Bob, you like to offer these great deals to get people started, don't you?
Yeah, so somebody asked me the other day. They said, "I'm only a part-time trader. Is this service worth it?" Probably 2/3 of the people who trade with us have jobs. And so, it's not all about day trading. It's about what we call swing trading. And so we help people do that and be able to get into trades while they're working. Could we send the information out to them electronically? We also teach people how to fish, Paul, so that they can trade on their own. And we get a lot of comments saying, hey, Bob, I'm in this trade, I'm that trade. Based on your signal, what do you think? So we kind of help people learn how to trade as well. And we provide the algorithms. It's available for them to use on their own. So we give them access as long as they're a subscriber, so they can trade things that I don't trade. I don't trade everything. You learn that in trading. You got to pick what you're good at, and that's what you trade, because money is money. You don't need to trade 5,000 things if 10 things work. And so we help people trade. We help people learn. We have chat rooms. And we did 3 more things this year, Paul. We had a room we call personal coaching room, where a lot of people that are afraid to ask questions in a bigger group or may need a phone call or two, they can pay a little bit more money and get access to that room. And then myself and Phil will do deep dives with them to help them get on the right path. And then we have a room we call the VIP room for people that are a little bit more hardcore, want to day trade, want to learn some more advanced stuff. And people pay a little bit more to have access to that, and we give them exposure to some advanced concepts. And the other thing that we did in the fall that we're now doing in February is that we're actually doing training out of the office. So we did a training in Kona, and then in Florida, Orlando, we're doing training third through the 5th, and it's reasonably priced. It's 3 days. People charge $5,000 for something we're charging $600 for, and then we even throw lunch in. And so it's 3 full days, and we teach people from all the way from what is the stock market to even how to day trade, so people can pick what they think they may want to trade over time. We'll probably sell out of that class. We keep it very limited, 30 people, 35 at the most, and we have it intimate. It's really good interaction, and so people are able to take advantage of that. Even if they don't subscribe, they can actually come and join, and they can actually rub shoulders with other traders that are subscribers of ours. So that's what we're doing to help people. We found out that educating people, equipping them, and then giving them some really good trade ideas just puts you on the right path. And our track record just speaks for itself. We've been consistent on this for years because we have the right methodology. And we don't promise you Lambos, but we definitely are going to help you grind out and build your wealth.
Bob, also in all of this great teaching and helping people, of course, that you're a devout Christian and family man, and you understand the importance of people securing their future. And even though we're in these strange times, we're in these last days, we see that there is opportunity for folks to secure their future. And I was looking at your percentage of government bonds that trade at a negative yield. And we're looking at that chart right now, can you help us understand why Italy is at the top of the list, and what does this all mean?
Yeah, so they have to go negative because it's forced buying of bonds by the Central Bank of Europe. And because if they didn't buy those bonds, every country in Europe, probably except for Germany, would have gone bankrupt already. They would have gone the way of confetti. So the countries that you see that are the most negative are the countries whose bonds are the least desired. And what they do when they go negative, it's basically a tax on savers, Paul. So, if you own a company in Italy and you have to have money available for working capital, it's sitting in a checking account. They're taxing it, okay? So in the United States, you might get 0.01% for your checking account, right? And you pay a $15 a month fee for them managing the account for you. In Italy, if you have $1 million, they're taking out $1,000 a month out of that account, and they're basically handing it to the government. And so that's why they went negative. And it's going to go even more negative, Paul. There'll be outright confiscation in Europe before it's over because they simply can't pay back the money they borrowed. And that's the dirty little lie the socialists never tell anybody. Europe looks great because they borrowed themselves out of existence. I like to see them try to do these social programs if they had to balance their budgets. And you know, they get away with this lie because the central banks have enabled these policies. You know, they're basically the Antichrist and the false prophet of economics.
I told you, folks, this is a prophet's channel. You never know what's going to come out, but the Antichrist and false prophet of economics has just been released. It's in the European Union, it sounds like. And wow. Well, hey, we got to do something with our debt too, Bob. I mean, let's face it, America's like $24 trillion. How do we get out of that? Or do we? Or do we just write it off? I mean, what's the plan?
So here's my theory on this, Paul, and I could be all wet, is that the central bank of the United States has basically $4 trillion of assets that they're managing. Okay, in the next 10 years, Paul, the average age of the United States citizen will start to roll over down because the baby boomers will start dying off. Okay, and so my thinking is that I think they made a decision that the central bank will buy up all the bonds that the American government will produce. They'll heat inflation up a little bit hotter. Occasionally, they'll do some taxes. And by the time this is all over in the next 10 years, our balance sheet will go from 4 trillion to 20 trillion. And they'll absorb all the buying of the debt. And you'll see then they'll spend the next 20 years trying to unwind it, or they'll just go to a new regime. They have to get through this snake, you know, that the snake ate the baby boomers, and it has to work its way through so that these social programs will start lightening up, and then they'll be able to start unwinding these deficits. That's my view on it. Look, it's extremely evil, but it's the only plan they have, and I think that's what the central banks are doing. And I think that Trump is doing his part by saying, I can increase economic growth by basically taking it out of the hide of the mercantilist countries. And that's what you're seeing now. You notice the dollar keeps getting stronger.
Yeah.
So Europe and China are going to absolutely get devastated by this. They have no choice. It's the way they structured their economies. They can't do what the United States can do. There was no accident Trump said, hey, we don't need anybody's energy, okay? The next thing he's going to say to the Chinese is that we produce all the food we eat, okay? You can't. And so you're going to start seeing that. And that is the key for survival of the nation, Paul. If a country cannot provide domestic energy or domestic food and they run a deficit, their country is doomed. And I'll give you one country that comes to mind that most people don't think about. Watch India. India is in a world of hurt. They can't produce enough food for their people, and they can't produce enough energy, and they're running massive deficits. They're going to be the first one of those those BRICS countries that's going to probably go under. Russia is good to go, and Brazil is good to go because they can do both the same things the United States can do. India cannot, China cannot. Okay, and that's where you're going to see the pressure. And in Europe's just a mess, absolute mess. You know, that's gonna break apart. There's, people always tell me, oh, the Bible's not real revelation. There's iron and clay right there myself.
There it is, iron and clay. Yep.
I mean, it's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And they got the iron of Islam, and they got the iron of the Northern Empire, and they got the clay of the South, and they got the clay of the atheists. And I mean, it's just so obvious to you. You don't need trade genius. Just get the book of Revelations. You'll know the future.
And you know something, folks? You're so on the money. It is clay and iron. It will not mix. It cannot mix. The assimilation won't work. And we've seen it now. We're seeing it, and it's devastating Europe. It has literally put the nail in the coffin. I think the United Kingdom is hurting bad, but they're making a good move by Brexiting now. They can save themselves, and I think they will, but it's the rest of those nations. Maybe Poland, maybe some of these guys will, because they didn't allow the migration to overtake them. Maybe they'll survive somehow, but some of these countries are in trouble. And I think goodbye Belgium, and there's some of these others. They're just going to get eaten alive in this mess. And I think, Bob, you're all over it. Folks, Bob Kudla.
Here's the other thing, Paul, if I may. If cut me off, I'm running long. But watch what's called the Five Eyes. The United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and England. They cooperate on intelligence. Watch for a multilateral trade agreement between those 5 countries. And basically, the English-speaking world is going to probably collapse into itself. And you'll see that. And Brexit is one of the things. You'll see it with Australia. Australia and New Zealand are scared witless about China. They're going to hop on board. And Canada is going to go, for Canadian friends listening, you stock up a year's worth of food because your grain belt are going to suffer through this solar minimum.
Folks, there you go. Bob Kudla, the trade genius. Read the book of Revelation. Go learn about what he's talking about and be a part of what they're doing. He's doing a great job of educating people and helping them to get in control of their own future with the help of the Lord Jesus Christ. Bob, thank you so much. We appreciate it. It's going to be a good year. I'm predicting it a great year for the economy again.
Yeah, Paul, hey, thank you very much for letting me on, and keep your health up, my friend, and I'll hopefully see you next month.
All right. Trade Genius, TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Go check it out, guys, all right? Or pick up the phone and call him at 1-800-949-1408. And next time I'll see you guys, we'll be live tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern, all right? God bless.